page that I like to visit, a web page, Ask a Prepper. But what we got here are 7 weird things only preppers understand. Do you? Preppers and survivalists are not like 99% of the world's population. When we take measures to ensure our survival regardless of the disaster, we tend to have a higher understanding of certain concepts, which most of the public does not grasp. I have thrown together a list of some of those things that it seems that only preppers understand. This list is by no means an exhaustive one. Instead, it is a few things that I know the average prepper understands that most of the public does not. Now, what I get out of that phrase right there is he's saying the average prepper, but I find that some people that might not actually be a full-blown prepper still probably do these things. And the first one is knowing how many resources your home actually consumes. When you want to prepare to be off-grid for any length of time, one of the first things you do is figure out how much your household consumes in the way of resources during that time frame. To this end, most preppers have a detailed and intimate understanding of how much power, water, food, and consumable supplies their family uses in a day, week, month, or year. For example, knowing how much power we need to continue operating with some semblance of normalcy after the grid goes down means we can get the correct size battery bank or generator to accomplish our goals. And the number 2 thing here is pretty cool too, because this is kind of how I roll with a lot of kits and things like that. When we start gathering supplies and gear, inevitably it all needs to be organized and packaged so that we can carry it. To the average person, it would seem that there are an awful lot of random bags in our home, but ask the prepper that lives there and they'll tell you what each bag is for. Exactly right. Bug out bags, get home bags, comms bags, range bags, tool bags, first aid, possibles bags. The list is almost exhaustive. Along with all the various bags and pouches, preppers like to save containers and tins for further storage and organization. Guys, I can't tell you how many coffee cans I might have, or any type of container that that you might buy in a store that might hold something that later on, once that empties out, you can probably use that for different things. I tell you, one of the best things I've ever found to put, say, loose screws or nails or any type of small object is taking, any type of jar or plastic jar, glass jar that has a lid. You mount your lid to something, and then with a screw or whatever, and then you can fill your jar with the contents, and then you can you can hang that lid where you can screw that jar right back up there, and it's just hanging there. It's a good storage place. But I collect all kinds of stuff like that. It says that they discovered that a plastic case for a drill bit nicely fit 8 AA batteries. And they've lost count of how many times they bought Altoids so they could use the tin afterwards. And of course, we all know that an Altoids tin can hold a lot of nice little small items for a kit, but also they're good to, use as a char cloth tin, and to even actually make the char cloth, right? Of course, guys, you can never have enough 5-gallon buckets. Am I right about that? If having a bunch of bags and tins lying around wasn't enough, you find that most preppers have a healthy supply of 5-gallon buckets. You must resist the urge to pick a couple up each time. You have to run down to the Home Depot. These buckets are fantastic for food storage and work great for storing all sorts of gear. I like to make kits designed to be stored inside a 5-gallon bucket. The person writing this saying this, of course. They are perfect for keeping in the crawl space and easy to lift in and out. They also like 5-gallon buckets because the lids fit tight and provide a fantastic seal. And the next one is, when the tank gets down to half, it's time to find a gas station. Whenever there is an evacuation order or alert, the masses of people fleeing the area suck the gas stations dry on their way out of town. while some people are guilty of driving around town running on fumes from time to time, you will prefer to fill your tank when you see the gauge flirting with the halfway mark. And that's how we roll too. A lot of times, we don't let that gas get down too far before we fill it up. No. But and then the next one would be power outages are practice for the apocalypse. Preppers love blackouts. Not only does the noise floor for the ham radios drop to almost nothing, but it gives your family and yourself practice run for living in a grid down society. You like to switch the refrigerators over to the solar battery bank and pull out the Jackery solar generator to keep your devices charged up. And see, this is what I'm saying, So, and you always need to have a manual tool for every power tool you have. So if your cordless drill has some screwdrivers around, your circular saw, make sure you have a handsaw or even your folding saw that you might take to the woods with you. You know what I mean? And of course, this last one here is the importance of rotation. A stockpile of food and water doesn't do much good if it expires all at once. As preppers, you make sure to rotate all your supplies with a shelf life so that the oldest items are used first. This keeps the supply fresh and allows us to use the stuff that is about to reach the end of its usable lifespan by integrating them into your daily lives. Gasoline is especially important to rotate since even stabilized gas and diesel have a definite lifespan. It is as simple as topping up your gas tank with the gas at the end of the rotation and refilling the jerry can with fresh gas that can then be stabilized. And of course, there's just too many things that only preppers understand to list here, and you think most preppers and survivalists would make many additions to this list. So, that's a little nice article there of showing some things, and we just wanted to present that there, guys. But there you have it, 7 weird things only preppers understand.